Welcome to my not a sewing video. It's been a week, guys, so this is going to be a short video. If you follow me on Instagram, which I assume you do because otherwise how in the world do you know I'm on YouTube? This is Friday's video being filmed on Saturday. It's been a long week, had some extended family issues, had some personal inside family issues, and have a friend going through some hard times right now. And I wanted to make sure I was available for everything, which made my spare time very limited. Also had an audition this week, so fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. But that meant that I wasn't able to get my video done earlier this week and posted on Friday. I feel like mental, emotional health days are very important, and I'm sure that you do too, so I'm sure you're very understanding. And if you're not, come on, friend, be cool. Be cool. Today's mug is my super duper awesome Catherine Dima DG Time Travel Society mug that my super awesome friend follower Andrea sent to me after I mentioned wanting to be a part of this club because Abby Cox is amazing and should be in charge of the world. So this makes me feel like I am club adjacent, and drinking my Genmancha green tea out of it is just lifting my spirits immensely. If you do not know, Genmancha is a green tea with puffed rice in it. I really love it. It's delicious. My favorite kind also has little bits of popcorn in it, but I can't find that kind anymore, and it makes my heart sore. But regular is good too. So, for this quick video that we're doing today, I wanted to talk to you about the petticoats for 1840s era dresses. And these actually work for late 1820s through the end of the 1840s. And I totally just burped. Do I want to edit that? No, I don't want to edit that because I don't edit because I do not like to edit. That was my edit dance. So for the 1840s dress that I am currently working on, one of the most popular petticoats to use is the corded petticoat. When I post this today, as soon as this is done, I will also post where I purchased these from and who I purchased them from. This one was purchased on Etsy. I love that it has a drawstring waist because my weight tends to fluctuate, and just how tight my corset is strung sometimes tends to fluctuate. And you can see at the bottom of my petticoat, these are rows of cording that have been sewn into it. If you use your Google Foo, you can find lots of extant sources for corded petticoats. And the cording in these petticoats, as well as the stiffened fabric through starching, this is, I believe, a muslin fabric that has been heavily starched, helps the outer petticoats and dresses and skirts all poof outwards and creates kind of a bell shape, which was really popular in the 1830s and 1840s. Now, mine is not quite as wide as I would like it to be. And so I'm considering figuring out how to kind of create and add another panel insert. Not sure how that's going to go, so we'll see. And I'll discuss why it's not quite as wide as I would like in just a minute. First, I want to address the other type of petticoat. Padded petticoats. Now, padded petticoats were also used in the 18th century, in the mid to late 18th century. and then kind of gained new life again in the 1830s and 40s. They tended to go to mid-thigh or knee length, and then the over petticoat would help the dress drape down from there. These padded petticoats have this lovely padding that is done into the fabric that helps stiffen the fabric and helps it stand out from the dress. My padded petticoat is extra long. I wanted it that way because if you've seen any of the videos, video clips, pictures, videos on friends' YouTubes about me in winter weather and how not ladylike I am, I wanted something that would keep me warm and go all the way to my feet. But that is not quite the usual standard. This one is also not quite as wide as I would like, but this one would be a lot harder to insert a panel into. So I don't know. We'll see. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. Now, quick discussion on why I feel like they need to be wider. Are you a plus size costumer like me? I hope there are some who follow my videos and my Instagram, because it's nice to see yourself in other people's work and other people's struggles who struggle with the same things that you do. So if you're yes, my dress has pockets. It has pockets. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking about something really serious. I just remembered that my dress has pockets and I really like that. Okay. Do you ever struggle with looking at your slimmer friends or smaller friends or whatever you want to call them in their outfits, looking, just like, Victorian photographs, or they look just like the fashion plates, or they look just like the extant gowns that are, on body forms in museums. But when you put yours on, it doesn't look quite that way. A really great example is regency dresses. I can't even count how many times I've heard plus size costumers, plus size women in general, who have tried on regency dresses just bemoan how awful we look in them, how they look so bad in regency, how regency is, they hate it the most. And I can almost 100%. I mean, there may be a few other factors, but I'm betting you that the main factor is because the pattern they are using just enlarged the pattern and did not make any allowances for their specific proportions and their overall sizing. Here's what I mean. When I was making a Regency day dress with a couple of friends of mine for a annual Regency picnic that I used to host and I miss doing, and I kind of want to do it some more again. I need to host more events because I love doing it, even though it drives me crazy and it's so much stress, but I love it. So, I mean, event planning is that is a tangent in my tangent. I'm not going to tangent in my tangent. Going back. That was lame. Will I edit? Nope, not going to edit. So, we were all making day dresses for this event, and we're all using the same pattern. It was a fairly popular commercial pattern for Regency because Regency dresses are fairly easy. The majority follow a fairly standard patterning. And it's fairly easy to take that pattern, tweak it a little, and make it historically accurate. So I have my friend who's like a size 6, I think, and the pattern says she needs like 6.5 yards of fabric. I don't know how much. Maybe it was like 5.5. And then I'm like the largest size, and it said I needed like 7 yards of fabric, or if it was 5.5, then like 6 yards of fabric. And I'm like, really? I only need an extra half a yard to look in my dress the way she looks in hers. So she made her dress and I made mine. Her dress was flowy and had tons of pleating in the back that looked great, while my dress like stuck kind of to me and went around all my curves, which, you know, Regency dresses, no, and barely had any pleats in the back because there's barely any fabric left to go around me. And I felt ugly and just out of place and horrible. And that's when I realized that patterning, that these gowns are not, these patterns are not taking bigger women proportions into account. They are just taking a standard size pattern and increasing everything. But that doesn't work with your proportions. So nowadays, any skirts, I always add more fabric. And I always do like a trial run with how much fabric I need so that I get the same swishy silhouette as my smaller counterparts do. And I'll tell you what, when you get that amount of fabric perfect, you can look just as swishy and amazing as your friends. When I figured out just how much fabric I need for my Regency gowns so that I get that nice drape and I get plenty of foofy pleating in the back, I look good in Regency. I look great. I put my long line Regency corset on that kind of, you know, smooths the things a little bit. And my dress just lightly flows over it's so nice and comfortable. So I want you to think about that. Same thing with like bustle dresses. I have a friend who is tiny. I think she might be a negative too. She turns sideways and she's hard to see. Love her to death. Her bustle kind of looks like the size of like maybe a shoulder pad to me. I mean, if you put that thing on me, you wouldn't even see it. It's not even there. But on her, it gives the perfect amount for the bustle back. Me, my bustle, it's huge. It's way bigger. My bustle fits from here to here and goes all the way back out here because I am a bigger woman. I have bigger proportions. So my bustle needs to give a bigger silhouette to match my bigger proportions. And when it does, I look just as slick as those fashion plates and those historical characters on shows and whatnot, because my dress is fitted and my outfit and my under things and everything are fitted to my needs, my proportions, to make this all look good. And you gotta remember, back then, women's outfits, everything from their stockings outward, were made for them. Okay, maybe not their stockings. I don't know about that. Don't quote me on that. But everything was made for them, for their proportions. So they didn't look tight or ill-fitting in their outfits. Everything was made to their specific proportions. There wasn't a standard size for any of this. There wasn't like, oh, you're a size 16 and you're a size 16, you're a size 16. Well, have you seen several women who are all size 16? You wouldn't believe it because they're all different. Some are tall and some are short and some are big boobed and some are small boobed, and our proportions are different. You gotta learn to costume for you. You've gotta learn to costume for all this. And then you will step out and you will see and you will be happy. Guarantee. And then we will be happy because we will finally be free. Okay, I don't know what I was doing there. Last thought, last comment on petticoats. Petticoats are important. You can always tell when someone is not wearing a petticoat. I'm going to get really close. I'm going to say this again. People can always tell when you're not wearing a petticoat. Think about movies and TV shows and such that you've seen. You can tell when they're not wearing petticoats. Their skirts slam down, stick to their legs, pool around their feet. They don't fluff out around them in a graceful manner. People can always tell when you're not wearing a petticoat. And it takes your beautiful, historically based outfit and makes it look costumey. And you don't want that. You spent so much time on that beautiful outfit. You want to show it off at its best. So make sure you're adding your petticoats. And don't be afraid to wear more than one, because I'll tell you, they definitely wore more than one petticoat. During the 1830s, 1840s, it was more like 3 petticoats. There would be an under petticoat, which is basically kind of the equivalent of underwear, or like a modern day slip almost. It would be a little bit more A-lined, a little slimmer than poofier petticoats, and usually be trimmed in like lace or something at the bottom. And it's always going to be a white color, because like the rest of the underwear, like your chemise, which you should also always be wearing under your corset. They're out of control, guys. I don't know what to do about them. It's basically part of that whole underwear set, like your chemise and your corset and your petticoat. Then you would put on like your corded petticoat or your padded petticoat, or if you are in the 18th century, your panniers, or if you're in the 1850s, 1860s, you know, you're going to put your big hoop skirts on, or if you're during the bustle era, you put your bustle on. Then over these, you're going to put another petticoat. If the bones of your petticoat show, so that means if these ridges are showing through the fabric of your skirt when you put it on, you need another petticoat over this. When they got to the boned petticoats, I say boned, but you know what I mean. The hoop skirts, the farthingales that have the hooping in them. Those rows of hoops showed right through skirt fabric, and that is not attractive. No one likes that. That's very costumey looking. And so you'd put another petticoat on top of this. Oftentimes you'd use a ruffle petticoat, because ruffles are really great at hiding boning in like hoop skirts and in bustles. But overall, you want a final petticoat that is nice and smooth, so that your skirt layer lays nice and smooth over it. Now, if your skirt is made out of a thicker fabric that things are not going to show through, you can probably eliminate some of the top petticoats. But that first layer of petticoat and your poofy petticoat, you cannot eliminate, because it's what gives you your perfect shape. Even in the 1890s and across the turn of the century into the early 1900s, when they stopped using things like corded petticoats and hoop skirts and bustles and whatnot, they still would layer several petticoats so that the skirts would stiffen and stay out. Some of the petticoats would be made out of layers of organdy, which is a stiffened fabric, or they would starch their fabrics so that they would hold their skirts out, and then they would put another soft layer. And some of those top layers of petticoats would be colors and stripes and beautiful. There are some extant examples of like silk petticoats that are just beautiful. Google them right now. And underneath it all, you'd have that lovely white lace trimmed feminine petticoat layer. Okay, my friends, I'm going to call it quits for this week's video. Hope that you learned something, because I probably did. I have a lot of energy because I had a really bad audition. But I got to sing a song from one of my favorite musicals, Kiss Me Kate. I got to sing I Hate Men because they wanted a song that showed your range, but also your personality. Now, I'm not saying I hate men. I'm just saying I really love the role and the energy in that song. And if you haven't seen Kiss Me Kate, go look it up right away. It's a musical about the taming of the shrew. And it's awesome. And it's a play within a play. So it's a musical about a group of people doing the musical. I Hate Men is incredible. You know, I hate men. It's awesome. I'm done. I'm not doing any more of that. I'm not going to trip on nothing because nothing is there. So I'm not going to trip on it. Hopefully next week I will have an 1840s dress to show you, or most of one done. A new costuming project just kind of got heaped on me. I have to get a fairly simple but costume done by the end of this next week. So hopefully I can still get my regular amount of sewing in, and spare time is so limited, so we'll see how things go. I appreciate you all. I love you all. I hope you're doing amazing things. I know you are. Let's do amazing things together. Go put a petticoat on. Maybe two. Goodbye. Do petticoats, do petticoats, do. Why are you not stopping?